Hey everybody. So did Israel just do a false flag and kill a bunch of kids so that they could go start a war with Lebanon? Well, it's distinctly possible. It's either that or they're incompetent. One thing we can be sure that it isn't is what they say it is. So let's dive into it. On the 28th of July, there was a group of kids playing soccer one evening in the Golan Heights. Now, that is Syrian territory that has been occupied by Israel since 1967. Israel illegally annexed it in violation of international law, and most countries in the world still rightfully do not recognize it as Israel, but as it accurately is, the occupied Syrian Golan Heights. But if you hear some stories where it's called Israel, somewhere it's called Syria, that is why. So the Golan Heights town of Majel Shams is where this happened, and it's a Druze community. The Druze are a religious sect that live in that area of the world, and they're Arab people. Now, immediately after this happened, and of course it's terrible, a bunch of kids are playing, get blown up. But suddenly, the people in Israel, the IDF spokespeople, immediately come out and say, this was Hezbollah that did this. Hezbollah is a militia group that is in Lebanon that has been kind of going back and forth with Israel in support of Gaza since October, and they are sort of long-standing nemesis. But they are, to be clear, not the Lebanese army. They are more powerful than the Lebanese army, much better manned, funded, equipped, trained, and they are the most powerful non-state militia in the world. And Israel really wants to go to war with these guys and with Lebanon. Israel periodically goes to war with Lebanon, and in typical Israel style, just kills a bunch of civilians and does war crimes. So these kids, originally they were saying 11 kids died and one was missing. The one that was missing, they couldn't find him because he was blown to smithereens. So this is ugly, ugly stuff. But Israel immediately comes out and says it was Hezbollah, it was an Iranian-made explosive that, and they named it and said it had a 50-kilogram warhead and it came from Iran and we got to go to war with these people. And none of that made sense. And they said, these are Israeli citizens. So none of these people were Israelis. Now, when Israel illegally annexed the Golan Heights, they did offer the Jewish community citizenship, and pretty much everybody there told them to kick rocks. And they are now considered kind of stateless people because they identify rightfully as Syrians and occupied people, and the Israelis are suddenly like, oh my God, these Israeli kids. None of these kids were Israeli. But they were kids and they got blown up. And that sucks. So who did it? Well, okay, it doesn't really make military sense to blow up a bunch of kids playing soccer. Unless it's either an accident or it's deliberately done to stir up a bunch of animosity towards the people that you point the blame at. So that kind of tracks for Israel. I mean, the fact that they immediately supposedly knew what did it, and I'm not a weapons expert, but I do follow the war pretty quickly, and I know what it looks like when a 50-kilogram warhead hits something. There's a crater. There are tons of pictures on the media of this soccer field. There's not a crater. You can see the walls behind it have little bits of shrapnel. That points to an Israeli Iron Dome rocket that hit this town. And it would not be the first time. In March, the Iron Dome misfired and landed on this exact town. Now, could it have been Hezbollah that did the accident? It's possible. Their missiles are super accurate, and they tend to shoot barrages of rockets at once because they're trying to get through the Iron Dome anti-missile system in Israel. So they shoot a bunch of stuff to kind of distract it and slip something through. And all the stuff they shoot through has like a GoPro on it, and they release the videos. They claim responsibility, and they have a track record. Even if they screw up, they have immediately claimed responsibility and apologized. And that is not what happened here. What happened here was they immediately denied it and called for an independent UN investigation. And Israel doesn't want an independent investigation. They want everyone to believe them that their enemies did it. Something doesn't track here. And they have funerals very quickly in this community. So it was like, I think the next day, and there were thousands of people in the street for the children's funerals. And a bunch of Israeli politicians tried to go there. And these people chased him out and were screaming at him. Netanyahu wanted to meet with the families and do a bunch of PR on their kids' deaths. Families told them no. They didn't want to meet with Netanyahu. Then he went to the town and people chased him and screamed war criminal at him. So the fact that he's like, oh, these Israelis, they blame him. People in the town were telling reporters, we saw this come from Mount Hermon, which is in his IDF base that shoots off Iron Dome stuff. So when they were asked to go on record, they were said, we get thrown in prison if we give you our names. But we know Israel did this. And their community leader immediately came out and said, do not let the Israelis fool you. Do not let this stir up division. Besides riling people up against Hezbollah and painting them as evil and trying to, convince America to let them go to war because we've been attacked and we have a right to defend ourselves, all that. They really have an interest in trying to stir up division in communities that support the resistance. So the resistance, Hezbollah, they would have no reason to attack a community that supports them. In the past, when they accidentally have hit people, they've always taken responsibility. So, and we all know Israel has a history of just lying about everything and tending to blame things on their enemies and use it as their right to go defend themselves and just attack a bunch of civilians. So it's very disappointing to see the media just kind of reporting Israel was attacked by Hezbollah and they killed a bunch of kids, because that really doesn't seem to be the case. And, just wanted everyone to be aware of when you're being spun a narrative and when people are trying to drag the region, potentially us, into a war on Israel's behalf. Israel is a country that is attacking all of its neighbors, save one, currently. And these people are destabilizing the region. They are not being ganged up on by everyone because they're Jewish. They're bullying everybody in the region, and whenever anyone stands up to them, they freak out. And so this back and forth that's been happening, they have been very, very much careful with their escalations, hitting military targets only. This was just very out of character. Nothing here really tracks, nothing makes sense. Experts who've analyzed the audio from recordings of the hit say it's definitely not what Israel says it was. It sounds like it was one of their things, not one of Hezbollah's things. And this is not something you're hearing. And this could be the thing that, like, pops the entire region off into, like, a much, much bigger war, which has been a concern forever. Now, to be clear, if Israel started a war with Hezbollah, Israel would lose. So why would they want to do that? Well, they're nuts. That's one, I mean, straight up, that's one reason. They are really losing in Gaza, and, you know, they're getting more and more pressure to wrap that shit up and, like, sign a peace deal. And, you know, Netanyahu, his interest is to continue this war. As soon as the war is over, he loses power. So if he's being forced into doing some kind of deal to end the aggression in Gaza, he's going to immediately backdoor this into, oh, now we got to go fight a war somewhere else, so I still have to be in power. I mean, this guy is like, you know, hanging on like Joe Biden, ready to drag everyone down with him, except, like, he actually knows what he's doing. But, you know, I mean, similar thing. Netanyahu does not care about his country. Like, he will set the world on fire rather than relinquish his grip on power. And this is really alarming. So we've been waiting to see what's going to be the response. Because now, you know, even though it seems like Israel probably did this, they got to go retaliate against the people they blamed. And a bunch more people are going to die. And right before I recorded this, the news dropped that they have bombed in the Beirut southern suburbs in Lebanon. Apparently it was a assassination attempt against one of the head Hezbollah guys, and at time of recording, I don't know anything else. But it's something to keep your eyes on, and just realize that a lot of the things and a lot of the stories that are being spun to, like, constantly escalate this war are not what they seem. And that's why, you know, getting your news from independent sources and international sources is incredibly important. And so I just kind of wanted to help sound the alarm, spread the word, and let's hope the whole world doesn't catch on fire, but it's sure looking like it might. And that sucks. Okay, guys, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please like the video. If you would subscribe to my channel, I would be so grateful. You can press the bell icon, get notifications when a new video comes out. Share the video if you would like to spread the information, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Do you think it was an accident? Do you think it was a false flag? Do you believe the Israelis? I don't know. Tell me what you think. I would love to know your thoughts. Thanks again, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care. Bye.